Poncle made Vampire Survivors, a game so addictive people have legitimately described it as a controlled substance. And now they've taken that same snowballing dopamine loop, dropped it into a first person dungeon crawler, and handed you a deck of cards to do it with. So, is Vampire Crawlers actually good, or is it just riding the name? Let's get into it. So, here's what Vampire Crawlers actually is. Because the title alone doesn't tell the whole story. It's a turn based first person dungeon crawler with a deck building system at the center of it. Think wizardry, think old school blobber, but then layer a card game on top of that. Put it in the Vampire Survivors universe with all the abilities and weapon evolutions you already know, and then crank the speed up to something that frankly should not work for a turn based game. But it does, it really does. You are moving through dungeons floor by floor, exploring maps, fighting enemies in card based combat, headbutting for power ups and gems, and digging your way down to the next level with a shovel when you're ready to push deeper. The roguelite loop is intact. Every run you are building towards something, and every run you either snowball into a monster or you learn exactly what went wrong and why. The central mechanic is called the Turboturn, and this is where the game either clicks for you or it doesn't. The rule is simple. You play cards in ascending mana order, low to high, and each card you play multiplies the effect of the next one in the chain. So the longer your combo, the bigger the damage gets at the end of it. And here's the thing, you can extend that chain. Wild cards let you push the stack to 10, 20, even 30 cards, which means a well-built hand doesn't just deal damage, it deals world-ending damage. The kind of damage where you look at the number on screen and it genuinely looks like a bug. What makes it brilliant is the choice it creates. You can play methodically, take your time, plan every card, maximize the combo perfectly, or you can just rip through your hand as fast as humanly possible and watch the whole chaos unfold. Both approaches work. The game rewards both. That's a genuinely hard design problem to solve, and they solved it. If you've played Vampire Survivors, and statistically you probably have, the fan service here is real and it's done well. The weapon evolutions work the same way. The characters are back. The iconic survivors show up and trigger cascades of effects that absolutely break the game in the best possible way. There's a familiarity to it, and that makes getting started genuinely easy for Vampire Survivors veterans. You are not relearning everything from scratch, you are learning a new game that respects what you already know. And for people who haven't played Vampire Survivors, it doesn't matter. The game is complete on its own terms. The tutorial gets you up to speed quickly. You don't need the prior knowledge to have a good time here. And here's where the game has more depth than it looks like on the surface. Killing enemies gives you experience, which gives you new cards. But that's not always what you want. A bloated deck, too many cards, no real synergy will absolutely tank a run that looked fine 30 minutes earlier. The game actively discourages mindless grinding. You have to think about what you are adding and what you are not. You can burn cards, you can sacrifice them. There's a trimming and shaping process that turns deck building from a passive thing into an active strategic decision. Gems augment your cards. Legendary weapon evolutions change what's possible. The elemental damage system adds another layer once you are past the basics. And the arcana cards, the modifier system, mean that the way you play one character can be completely different from the way you play another. Replayability is genuinely there. It's not surface level. It's not a long list, but it's honest. The graphics are going to be a deal breaker for some people. First person dungeon crawlers with 2D sprite enemies in 3D environments is a specific look that either reads as charming retro or reads as low effort, and that depends entirely on the person. The game looks better in motion than in screenshots, but going in cold, it can look rougher than the price tag even implies. On launch, the accessibility settings weren't available before the tutorial started. You had to play through a short intro before you could even turn off screen shake. For people who are sensitive to that kind of thing, it's a friction point that shouldn't exist. Hopefully that gets patched. And the map and character variety, while solid at launch, is something people are already asking for more of. That's not really a criticism, it's the game doing its job well enough that you want more of it. But it's worth noting if content breadth is something you weigh heavily. One thing that's polarizing, but I would argue is actually good design, you cannot decline cards on level up. You can burn them, you can sacrifice them, but you can't just skip. It forces discipline, but if you are used to games that let you pass on a card and move on, it will feel restrictive at first. Here's the straight answer. If you like vampire survivors, yes, easy yes. If you like deck builders, yes. If you like old school dungeon crawlers, yes. If you like roguelites that respect your time and your brain, yes. The price is low, the hours you will put in relative to that price are not. This is the kind of game where players are logging 20 plus hours in the demo before the full release even drops. That tells you everything about the retention loop. Vampire Crawlers is not a reskin, it's not a cash grab on successful IP. It is a genuinely well-designed, mechanically interesting game that happens to live in the same universe as one of the best indie games ever made. Poncle has now done this twice. Taken a simple concept, built a deep, addictive loop around it, priced it fairly, and delivered. At this point, that's just who they are. It's worth your money, it's worth your time, and it is absolutely worth your skip schedule. Fair warning on that one. This is Day 1 Gaming. See you next time.